Son of God. Spirit, am I a holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit, am I a holy Son of God. Spirit, am I a holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit, am I a holy Son of God. Spirit, am I a holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive, free to save the world. Spirit, am I a holy Son of God, free. Spirit, am I a holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit, am I a holy Son of God. She be with you, peace be with you, from the Scottish folks on the Tay River in the northern part of the British Isle. The Scottish use the word for peace is she. It's spelled S-I-T-H, but it's pronounced she. Thank you all so much for joining me today in studying A Course in Miracles, Lesson 97, out of the Foundation for Inner Peace version. Here for our lesson Tuesday, April the 7th of 2026. Let's take a look at it. I'm Forgiveness Willie, teaching forgiveness from the Ozarks. Thank you so much for coming to join me today. I'm trying to make this be the easy way to get through A Course in Miracles. And if you've joined me and you'd like to listen in every day and hear what current events are going on and read through the text, and I'll start again on January 1st, but you can go ahead and listen in now. And but do every day, do your lesson. Lesson 1, nothing I see in this place means anything. But do each lesson, lesson 1, and then the next day. You can stick with the same lesson for 2 or 3 days if you like it. It'll not take long to do the lessons. I think lesson 1 probably takes, I think there's maybe a couple times in the day for maybe a minute is all you'll do. So it's not really, particularly at the beginning. At the point where we're at now in lesson 97, we're spending the first 5 minutes of every waking hour thinking about, Spirit am I, a holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive, and free to save the world. And if you do like listening in to me, I would still encourage you to go back and start at the beginning, and and don't give it too much of your attention. Try not to do that every 5 minutes necessarily on lesson 97, unless you've done lesson 1 through 96. Then you certainly do that. Okay, but you kind of like doing a precursor. You're kind of like exploring the territory when you're listening to me. If you're a first-year student and you haven't done the lessons prior to where I'm at. I hope I make that clear. Or you can just go back and listen to lesson 1 and not listen, and your dates will be off. But and wherever you get to, either way you want to do it, wherever you get to, you'll be at. It's just remember that on January 1st we'll start at lesson 1 again and go through the next year. Okay, I am spirit. Today's idea identifies with your one self. And one more thing I do want to say in this moment of opening. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. It's the day before Easter for me. I do this recording on Saturday for this upcoming Tuesday. I'm about 4 days ahead of you. But anyway, thank you for joining me. Okay, I am spirit. Today's idea identifies you with your one self. It accepts no split identity nor tries to weave opposing factors into unity. It simply states the truth. Practice this truth today as often as you can, for it will bring your mind from conflict to the quiet fields of peace. No chill of fear can enter, for your mind has been absolved from madness, letting go illusions of a split identity. And another thing I want to mention to you as we're reading along, if you don't have A Course in Miracles and you need one, my email is in the description below. Send me an email. Let me know what your address, where you need it sent to, and I'll make sure you get one. And also, if you need it for today, and you can get another device and follow along at acim.org for the Foundation for Inner Peace version. You can read the whole thing or have them read it to you. Or you can go to, if you're reading through the original edition, you can, which we're not using that this year, other than multiple year students maybe reading along. And if you are, today read chapter 10, Roman numeral 8, paragraph 78 through 90. The end of, the rest of that section. We read half of it yesterday. And while we're at it, if you're a multiple year student, you're reading through the New Testament with me, or even a first year student for that, Acts chapter 9 today, in Iyengar Yoga, page 118 and 119, and out of A Course of Love, we're starting in book 2, the art, or I forget the name of it, but it treatises. And it's chapter 1, the first instruction, the first treatise. Okay, paragraph 2. We state again the truth about yourself, the Holy Son of God who rests in you, whose mind has been restored to sanity. You are the Spirit lovingly endowed with all your Father's love and peace and joy. You are the Spirit which completes Himself and shares His function as Creator. He is with you always, as you are with Him. Today we try to bring reality still closer to your mind. Each time you practice, awareness is brought a little nearer, at least. Sometimes 1,000 years or more are saved. Can you imagine that? Each time we practice 5 short minutes of thinking, Spirit am I, a holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world, and then pause for a minute or 2, 5 if you can. He says that sometimes you're always going to have some healing occur. He said sometimes 1,000 years or more are saved. The minutes which you give are multiplied over and over, for the miracle makes use of time, but is not ruled by it. Salvation is a miracle, the first and last. the first that is the last, for it is one. You are the spirit in whose mind abides the miracle in which all time stands still, the miracle in which a minute spent in using these ideas becomes a time that has no limit and that has no end. Give then these minutes willingly and count on him who promised to lay timelessness aside. Give then these minutes willingly and count on him who promised to lay timelessness beside them. He will offer all his strength to every little effort that you make. Give him the minutes which he needs today to help you understand with him you are the spirit that abides in him and that calls through his voice to every living thing, offers his sight to everyone who asks, replaces error with the simple truth. The Holy Spirit will be glad to take 5 minutes of each hour from your hands and carry them around this aching world where pain and misery appear to rule. He will not overlook one open mind that will accept the healing gifts they bring, and he will lay them everywhere he knows they will be welcome, and they will increase in healing power each time someone accepts them as his thoughts and uses them to heal. Thus will each gift to him be multiplied 1,000-fold and tens of thousands more. And when it is returned to you, it will surpass in might the little gift you gave, as much as does the radiance of the sun outshine the tiny gleam a firefly makes an uncertain moment and goes out. The steady brilliance of this light remains and leads you out of darkness, nor will you be able to forget the way again. Begin these happy exercises with the words the Holy Spirit speaks to you, and let them echo round the world through him. Spirit am I, a holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world. Expressed through you, the Holy Spirit will accept this gift that you received of him, increase its power and give it back to you. Offer each practice period today gladly to him, and he will speak to you, reminding you that you are spirit, one with him and God, your brothers and yourself. Listen for his assurance every time you speak the words he offers you today, and let him tell your mind that they are true. Use them against temptation and escape its sorry consequences if you yield to the belief that you are something else. The Holy Spirit gives you peace today. Receive his words and offer them to him. And let's go back and take a look at our text reading for today. And we're ready for the dynamics of the ego, which is in chapter 11, God or the Ego, Roman numeral 5. And we'll read the first half of that. The dynamics of the ego, Roman numeral 5. No one can escape from illusions unless he looks at them, for not looking is the way they are protected. There is no need to shrink from illusions, for they cannot be dangerous. We are ready to look more closely at the ego's thought system, because together we have the lamp that will dispel it. And since you realize you do not want it, you must be ready. Be ready to let go of the ego. Let us be very calm in doing this. For we are merely looking honestly for truth. The, in quotes, dynamics of the ego will be our lesson for a while. For we must look first at this to see beyond it, since you have made it real. We will undo this error quietly together, and then look beyond it to truth. And the word dynamics is in quotes because really the ego, there is no true dynamics because it's an illusion. Paragraph 2. What is healing but the removal of all that stands in the way of knowledge? What is healing? What is healing but the removal of all that stands in the way of knowledge? And how else can one dispel illusions except by looking at them directly without protecting them? Be not afraid, therefore, for what you will be looking at is the source of fear, and you're beginning to learn that fear is not real. You are also learning that its effects can be dispelled merely by denying their reality. The next step is obviously to recognize that what has no effects does not exist. Laws do not operate in a vacuum, and what leads to nothing has not happened. If reality is recognized by its extension, what leads to nothing could not be real. Do not be afraid, then, to look upon fear, for it cannot be seen. Clarity undoes confusion by definition, and to look upon darkness through light must dispel it. 3. Let us begin this lesson in quotes, ego dynamics, by understanding that the term itself does not mean anything. It contains the very contradiction in terms that makes it meaningless. Dynamics implies the power to do something, and the whole separation fallacy lies in the belief that the ego has power to do anything. The ego is fearful to you because you believe this. Yet the truth is very simple. All power is of God. What is not of Him has no power to do anything. When we look at the ego, then, we are not considering dynamics but delusions. You can surely regard a delusional system without fear, but it cannot have any effects if its source is not real. Fear becomes more obviously inappropriate if you recognize the ego's goal, which is so clearly senseless that any effort on its behalf is necessarily expended on nothing. The ego's goal is quite explicitly ego autonomy. From the beginning, then, its purpose is to be separate, sufficient unto itself, and independent of any power except its own. This is why it is the symbol of separation. 6 or 5. Every idea has a purpose, and its purpose is always the natural outcome of what it is. Everything that stems from the ego is the natural outcome of its central belief, and the way to undo its results is merely to recognize that their source is not natural, being out of accord with your true nature. I said before that to will contrary to God is wishful thinking and not real willing. His will is one because the extension of His will cannot be unlike itself. The real conflict you experience then is between the ego's idle wishes and the will of God, which you share. Can this be a real conflict? 6. Yours is the independence of creation, not of autonomy. Your whole creative function lies in your complete dependence on God, whose function He shares with you. By His willingness to share it, He became as dependent on you as you are on Him. Do not ascribe the ego's arrogance to God, who wills not to be independent of you. He has included you in His autonomy. Can you believe that autonomy is meaningful apart from God? The belief in ego autonomy is costing you the knowledge of your dependence on God, in which your freedom lies. The ego sees all dependency as threatening and has twisted even your longing for God into a means of establishing itself. But do not be deceived by its interpretation of your conflict. 7. The ego always attacks on behalf of separation. Believing it has the power to do this, it does nothing else, because its goal of autonomy is nothing else. The ego is totally confused about reality, but it does not lose sight of its goal. It is much more vigilant than you are, because it is perfectly certain of its purpose. You are confused because you do not recognize your purpose. You must recognize that the last thing the ego wishes you to realize is that you are afraid of it. For if the ego could give rise to fear, it would diminish your independence and weaken your power. Yet its one claim to your allegiance is that it can give power to you. Without this belief, you would not listen to it at all. How then can its existence continue if you realize that by accepting it, you are belittling yourself and depriving yourself of power. The ego can and does allow you to regard yourself as supercilious, unbelieving, lighthearted, distant, emotionally shallow, callous, uninvolved, and even desperate, but not really afraid. Minimizing fear, but not its undoing, is the ego's constant effort, and is indeed a skill at which it is very ingenious. How can it preach separation without upholding it through fear? And would you listen to it if you recognize this is what it is doing? 10. Your recognition that whatever seems to separate you from God is only fear, regardless of the form it takes, and quite apart from how the ego wants you to experience it, is therefore the basic ego threat. It dreams of autonomy. Its dream of autonomy is shaken to its foundation by this awareness. For though you may countenance a false idea of independence, you will not accept the cost of fear if you recognize it. Yet this is the cost, and the ego cannot minimize it. If you overlook love, you are overlooking yourself, and you must fear unreality because you have denied yourself. By believing that you have successfully attacked truth, you are believing that attack has power. Very simply, then, you have become afraid of yourself, and no one wants to find what he believes would destroy him. And I think we'll read paragraph 11 and then stop. That's about halfway through this section. If the ego's goal of autonomy could be accomplished, God's purpose could be defeated, and this is impossible. Only by learning what fear is can you finally learn to distinguish the possible from the impossible and the false from the true. According to the ego's teaching, its goal can be accomplished and God's purpose cannot. According to the Holy Spirit's teaching, only God's purpose can be accomplished. And it is accomplished already. Okay, so let's keep in mind today this idea. The truth is very simple. All power is of God. What is not of Him has no power to do anything. The ego is not even real. Okay, let's see. It is Passion Week. I don't know that they call it that for the Eastern Orthodox Christians. It's Passover, the 7th of the 8th day for the Jews. Also in the Eastern Orthodox, today is a Feast of Annunciation, when Gabriel came and told Mary that she was going to have a child. Coffee Cake Day, out of holidays and observances. Sexual Assault Awareness Month's Day of Action. Day of Remembrance of the Victims of the Rwanda Genocide. Empowered Women Entrepreneurs Day. International Beaver Day. Beavers are the castor genera, and the species of the American beaver is canadensis, and of the European it's Fiber, F-I-B-E-R. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. International Snail Papers Day, Metric Systems Day, Beer Day, Girl Me Too, T-O-O Day, Handmaid Day, Making the First Move Day, Pet Health Insurance Day, No Housework Day, Public Television Day, and World Health Day or World Health Organization Day. And then we've got another ribes, and it's a ribes sativum, and it's the cherry red currant. I'm going to tell you about the cherry red currant out of Edible Landscaping. Cherry red currant. Cherry red currants fruit clusters are short and loose. The berries are very large, bright, dark red, acidic, and good. Plants are vigorous, upright, and productive. Cherry red resists mildew, a real plus in humid areas. a small bush in the landscape. Cherry red is good in shade against buildings and with borders including strawberries or low-growing herbs or flowers. Mixing with Yasta or white and black currants about 5 foot apart is fine since they are similar in size and habit. Space 5-foot circles, height 4 to 5 foot, zones 3 through 7. And we learned the other day out of edible landscaping, those currants they sell in the health food store are not always currants. I looked that up and I found here's what you want to ask for. If you're wanting the berries for their for their health benefits, be sure that the currants you get are not a dried small seedless grape, the Vitis vinifera. Instead, what you want are the either the red rubra, you want the currants that are related to gooseberries, the ribes genera. There's the red currant, which is the ribes rubra, or the black currant, which is the ribes nigra, or the white currant, which is the ribes sativum. They've got a lot of health benefits where the grapes, they're not bad for you really, and at least you eat too many of them. There's a lot of sugars in it. But the berries, they're high in vitamin C, all the yostaberry and all the ribes. They're high in vitamin C and the antioxidant anthocyanin. It's been used for cardiovascular disease and for cardiovascular health, rheumatism, arthritis, respiratory health, and I found all that on Science Direct. Okay, thank you again for joining me. Let's close with our song. Be sure to stop every hour of the day and tell you this. And when you can, take five, okay? Spirit am I, Holy Son of God. Spirit am I, Holy Son of God. Free of all limits, safe and healed and whole. Free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit am I, Holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit am I, Holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world. Spirit am I, a Holy Son of God. Spirit am I, a Holy Son of God. And as our Scottish brothers say, she be with you, peace be with you. Spirit am I, a Holy Son of God, free of all limits, safe and healed and whole, free to forgive and free to save the world. She